so often, the sports hangover touches on mature topics. Discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I am Jeremy, that is
Nice.
Mike, and we are happy to be here for another show.
That was good, Jeremy. I'm pumped up to be here, Jeremy. As you can tell, right here, the Seahawks have advanced to the Super Bowl, and that's what's happening right now, Jeremy. Right now.
I love it. The king of intros. I love that. So happening right now, the Broncos are 2.5-point favorites for the Super Bowl, Mike. They're playing the Seahawks. Sunday night, before Richard Sherman went on his rant to Aaron Andrews, the Seahawks were a 1-point favorite in this game. I know you don't believe me.
I thought I was gambling very hard on that game on Sunday. I was betting on the game, and then afterwards checking the lines. I always thought it was at 3.5, and since then it's moving. So we're recording this on Wednesday, the January 22nd, and this is right now it's 2.5. So it's probably going to move a little more. This is the longest period of time between games all season. So
there's a lot of action going down, but what's interesting to me, as soon as the Seahawks won, they were crowned the favorite. And then 40 minutes later, 50 minutes later, the Broncos were the favorite in this game. I think that means as soon as the line became available, the sharp set it at Seahawks -1, and the public pushed it all the way to the Broncos.
Where are you putting your money?
I'm putting my money – I'm undecided right now. Can I decide later in the show, maybe next week?
Sure. Okay.
I think we know where your money's going.
I'm gonna put money on the Seahawks. I'm gonna wait for the line to move a little more because I feel like we got a whole week. Everybody I've asked is saying Broncos are gonna win it. So I'm hoping the line moves a little more. Maybe I'll get that 4.5 points maybe, and should be good. Make some money.
And you know Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, those guys love being the underdogs in the Super Bowl,
and
right?
I hope they win.
Right. Also happening right now, Polar Vortex Part 2 is sweeping, like the wind chill in sunny Orlando this morning was 30
Jeremy,
degrees.
you know, it's tough living in California sometimes because you don't have to look at the Weather Channel. You know every day it's going to be 75 and sunny. And honestly, I had no idea another happening of the Polar Vortex was happening at all.
Well, this isn't about you in LA. It's not about Orlando. It's about the Super Bowl. We're 10 days away, Mike. And the field is covered in snow. The Meadowlands
Jeremy,
is covered.
this is bad for you because your prediction was it was not going to snow for the Super Bowl. So what's going on? But
I'm sticking with it because if it snows all this week, this massive blizzard, they're going to have another one next week? Not so fast. I don't think so.
Didn't a polar vortex happen a few weeks ago?
Like 2 weeks ago. Temperatures are supposed to be well below 32 degrees up until next Tuesday, and then they're supposed to climb up a little bit to a comfortable 30 to 28 degrees for the game on Super Bowl.
So we'll see. Right? I mean, I'm glad you can predict the weather 2 weeks in advance, Jeremy. You should talk to a meteorologist.
I'm kind of a big deal. I just want you to know that the Meadowlands Stadium is covered in snow right now.
Well, it's a beautiful 82 degrees outside and sunny. Yes.
For you. Also happening right now, the Cleveland Browns cannot hire a head coach. No one wants to coach him. Maybe that guy in the background behind you will coach the Browns.
I forgot to mention we have a live studio audience today, just creeping back there.
He looks engaged. That's awesome. The Cleveland Browns, they do not have a head coach. The season ended 3 weeks ago. They can't find anyone. Everyone keeps saying, no, I don't want to coach your team. This is getting serious.
Who have they asked? I haven't followed this at all. Honestly, I don't really care, but I would like to see who they've asked that turned it down.
So Broncos offensive coordinator, Adam Gase, not happening. Patriots offensive coordinator, McDaniels, who drafted Tebow in Denver, not happening. Seahawks D coordinator, Dan Quinn, probably not going to happen. So now they're interviewing like the Bills defensive coordinator.
I mean, you're going after teams that have, like, they're in the Super Bowl, or they're potentially a much better team. There's no rebuilding for those teams they're on. They can get a ring. If you go to the Browns, it might take you another 10 years to get anywhere near the playoffs, and I don't think it's not good for the Browns.
Think about this, though. They draft Johnny Manziel at 4th overall. They already have Josh Gordon. They have a decent defense with Joe Hayden, Berkefius Bingo. They have decent players on that team. They just need a coach.
So, I mean, they're going to start hiring people off the street like you or me? I mean,
I think they're going to do a raffle for season ticket holders, and whoever wins the raffle coaches the Browns.
I like it. I mean, I think it would be good, a crowdsourced coaching league.
What could go wrong? Also happening right now, we have major Olympic threats in Sochi, Russia. We are less than 2 weeks away from the Winter Olympics in Russia, Mike, and there are huge security concerns people going over there are not necessarily feeling safe about it.
I don't know why you would feel safe. Well, a few weeks ago, a bomb went off. This is not the best. I mean, haven't there been threats for a while on Russia?
There's been a lot of threats. There's been recent video threats from terrorists. There's apparently the Black Widow woman snuck in through the first ring of security already. She's on the inside, and she's already wanted in there. And we're still 2.5 weeks away. This is not good.
I mean, Russia beefed up everything they could. They're trying, but in the end, you're in Russia. No one cares.
No one really cares. I don't know how it got to Sochi, Russia. Apparently, this is Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia. It's his vacation town. This is equivalent to America's Martha's Vineyard, where presidents go for vacation. Imagine the Olympics in Martha's Vineyard.
That'd be nice.
Not for the rest of the world. This is a world event. Sochi, I don't feel good about it. I hope everything is okay, but we'll see what happens. My final happening now, Mike, I spent the day with Donald Trump.
How did this happen?
So, at the Orlando Convention Center, there's a big convention going on, and the Donald was involved, Donald Trump, and I was out there today hanging out. And I got to tell you, the Donald, I was going to make this my sexy, slutty, skanky story of the week, but we already have some good ones coming up for that. The Donald in person looked a lot better than he's on TV. The hair was down, completely down. And I'll tell you, from the back to the front, it looked fine. The hair was fine. Now, there was no wind inside.
Are you jealous of his hairline?
No, I'm not jealous of the Donald's hairline. I wouldn't go that far. I'm jealous of certain people's hairlines, but not the Donald.
So he looked good.
But that was one condition. He looked good, too. Taller than I thought. You know, on TV, he kind of seems like a short, fat guy. Taller. He looked like he's been working out a little bit. The Donald looking good in person. I think he's working on wife number 7.
Did you get to talk to him at all?
No, I would never.
I also have some happening now news. We talked about this last year during, I think it was the summertime. I don't even know how long ago we talked about this. Michelle Beadle went to NBC, did a show, it failed, and now she's coming back to ESPN. And this is big news for ESPN.
This is reportedly by Sports Illustrated.
So this is big news. I mean, a lot of people are switching in and out of ESPN. They got Olbermann recently. They're really trying to beef up ESPN because it seems like they lost a lot last year.
Yeah, it's interesting. I can't think of anyone else that left ESPN that is returning. I just can't think of one example of that.
I thought it was Olbermann.
It's kind of like she's Olbermann, yes, but this is different. Olbermann went to like all these different places. Beadle left ESPN a year ago. This is a little different, and she's going back with her tail between her legs. Where Olbermann was wildly successful at other places, he just burned every bridge in TV, and he had nowhere else to go. Beadle, her show was unsuccessful on NBC. She butted heads with the people at NBC Sports, and now she's going back to ESPN, which I think it's a good career move for her.
Well, I think it's a much safer career move because being at NBC and trying to rip off a show that you did on ESPN obviously did not pan out very well. So going back to ESPN, might go back onto whatever that terrible show is, Sports Nation, and do that. And I mean, it's a much safer move.
I'm a fan of Michelle Beadle's. I always have been, but where has she been the last year? It's hard to find her. She's doing Access Hollywood. The NBC Sports show didn't last very long. It's like, where you at, girl? So it's good that she's
all right, let's get into slutty, sexy story of the week.
Time to dig up the dirtiest stories.
All right, in this week's sexy, slutty, skanky story of the week, we have Brandon Rattay joining us. So we're going to get into it right now. Jeremy, last week you tweeted this right after the show, right after we were done recording. Tight end Kellen Winslow on the Jets right now, right?
Currently free agent.
Soon to be. Was arrested for masturbating inside his SUV outside of Target. Which
I kind of feel bad for Kellen. All he was looking for was a Boston market, and he couldn't find it. I
feel like I don't get the joke, Jeremy.
No, that's a real thing. He was looking for jerk chicken.
I think Jeremy and I go to lunch a decent amount at Boston Market, and he's kind of getting his paths crossed here.
I hope you got the jerk chicken joke, but he really was looking for a Boston Market. That's what he told the police when he got pulled over in the Target.
And now I don't know if sometimes you have roommates and you want to get away. I get it. Maybe you want to just go shopping, do something, but you can always lock the door and masturbate inside of the bathroom if you want.
Have you guys ever masturbated in your vehicle?
I have never masturbated inside my vehicle.
I cannot say that I have either, but I have seen a movie where a guy does that.
Okay.
All right, so we're 1 for 3. We're moving on.
Wait, does that mean you have tried, Jeremy?
Moving on.
Okay.
Okay.
What else do we have? Also, this one, Geno
Geno Smith,
Smith, you tweeted about him. Escorted off a Virgin America flight last week. Again, I don't know how these players get in trouble right when the season ends. They just decide, let's go crazy. Let's whip out our dicks. Let's get thrown off airplanes. I don't know.
They need something to do in the offseason. All this is on Twitter at TSH
Yes.
Podcast. I tweeted a picture of Geno Smith in LAX getting kicked off of the plane, Mike. It turns out he had a dispute with the flight attendant over headphones. Have you ever been kicked off a plane?
I have not.
I haven't either, and I'm questioning why he would have a dispute about headphones. I think that this guy could probably afford any headphones that he wants, and I hope he didn't pay for the $2 ones that you get on the plane.
Is it the rule where they want you to take off the headphones because they don't want you listening to anything as you take off?
I think that's what it was. But I thought there was a new rule where you can use your phone or iPad.
Honestly,
during
if you
takeoff.
just have the earbuds and you just put them on and don't make eye contact with anybody, you can play all your music all you want.
It's exactly
until
what you
they
gotta
start patting your.
Well, then once they go sit down, you just put it back on because once they're taking off, they can't get to you.
What
I
if you
tend to do the one bud.
Crash the plane?
It doesn't crash the plane. What were you saying, Brandon? Jeremy interrupted you.
I do the one bud.
Okay, the one bud.
Where if you're on the left side of the plane, you have the left one in, and you're leaning up against the side, and then
you fake
opposite.
asleep.
Yeah.
But if the crying baby's on the other side, what good is the one bud?
Well, once you get in flight, Jeremy.
Let's hope that there's not a crying baby sitting next to you on any flight. Let's just say that.
Also, Brandon, over the weekend, I'm sure you watched the game. After the Seahawks beat the 49ers, everybody was talking about Richard Sherman going berserk, going crazy after, celebrating, yelling at Crabtree. Honestly, I thought it was the best part of the game. Right after, he was going, I couldn't believe it was actually happening.
Okay, I thought it was television gold. And he really came out there. He was really emotional. You understood, the situation with him and Crabtree back and forth the whole game. I did think it was a bit absurd for him to go up to Crabtree at the end and, pat his behind. And, he obviously said something there. But you gotta love it. You gotta love the emotion. And the best part for me was Erin Andrews' reaction.
She was like,
whenever firstly, what do you have to say about that? And he goes, he's like, I'm the best cornerback in the league. And she's like, well, he said it. And then, who was talking about you, Richard?
Yeah.
She wasn't scared off. Some people say that she was scared. I don't think she was ever scared. I think she was in the moment fine. And, I'm not normally a huge Erin Andrews fan, but she handled that absolutely correctly. I agree with you.
She was thrown off a little. Because you weren't expecting that at all.
No, I don't think anybody was, and she's posted about it on Twitter since then, and she's been like, I totally understand his emotion, it is what it is, and I thought it was great. I know there are a lot of Richard Sherman haters out there, and people calling him a thug, but let's be honest, this guy went to Stanford, he graduated top of his class in high school, he's a quality football player on and off the field, and the way he's responded to it this week, coming out and just confronting it, I think you can't ask for anything more from a guy.
Mike, with you in the Seahawks jersey, we're going to be 3 for 3. I like what Sherman said also. I like him drawing some interest in the Super Bowl. Sometimes the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl can be so monotonous and boring and slow. And now we have something to talk about. We're talking about it right now. It's interesting. We're going to hear more from him in the week leading up to it.
Jeremy, I was so excited that that bet we made where I had to buy you paraphernalia of the Dolphins. I also bought myself a Richard Sherman jersey.
You always buy yourself something.
Well, I might as well. It's coming from China. I got to pay for the shipping, so.
You getting that? He wants the D shirt, or she wants the D shirt.
That they do not produce in China yet. So.
Mike only buys illegal NFL merchandise in China. If you want to reach him, it's Michael Benatar.
All right, let's play a little Guess That Tweet.
Let's play Guess That Tweet.
Okay, so here's the tweet, Brendan. If you don't know how to play, I read a tweet, a very recent tweet, and I'm going to give you a few multiple choice, and all you have to do...
it's multiple choice.
I'm giving you multiple choice, and all you have to do is guess that tweet. Here it is.
That's perfect.
Eliminate PATs, success rate too high, QBs better be careful, the forward pass is becoming increasingly efficient, hashtag penalize progress. Okay. All right, you don't have to say anything. I will give you the multiple choice, and then you could work out your
I'm not even sure what that means.
Okay. Is it A, Justin Tucker at JTuck9? Is it Phil Dawson at Phil_Dawson_4? Is it Chris Cluley at Chris Warcraft? That's a weird Twitter name. And Blair Walsh at Blair Walsh 3.
All right. Well, does it count if I've already read this tweet?
Well,
because I'm going to go with B, Phil Dawson.
That means you're a cheater. But Jeremy, I will give you a shot. But
I will go with Phil Dawson. But first, I want to say tremendous credit to you for looking up these random kickers' Twitter addresses. I did not.
I kind of wanted to get it out there. I wanted to make sure that you guys actually knew these were real people tweeting. So I researched for a while to make sure I found people that actually tweet, even a free agent kicker.
So three kickers and a punter. I will go with Phil Dawson because Brandon tipped me off today.
Spoiler alert, it was a retweet. I didn't actually read his. Wow. I don't actually follow Phil Dawson on Twitter.
You retweeted it.
You should be disqualified for that.
So this leads me into another story. So you both are disqualified, so no one wins this.
Well, wait, what does that tweet mean exactly?
Okay, so I'm getting to that. Hold on. First of all, in Guess That Tweet, you've both been disqualified. No one wins this week. That's not going on the scoreboard. So Roger Goodell came in and said, I don't know when he was talking about this, but he's thinking about getting rid of the points after the touchdown. So at this point, this is why he got a little upset. They're basically voiding kickers in the game because at some point you won't need them anymore.
Have you guys heard what they're thinking about doing?
Yes, and I really like it that you score 7 points on the touchdown, and if you go for 2 and you don't get it, you go back to 6 or you get the 8 points.
It's a crazy scenario.
I like it.
I like it. The extra point is the most boring play in football. Roger Goodell wants excitement on every play. So there's something like in the last 2,000 extra points, 5 have missed, right? 5 out of 2,000?
I have no idea.
Close, but it's actually 1256 out of the last 1261 this year.
56 failed?
No, they successfully completed 1,256 of 1,261 PAT attempts.
Where are you pulling this information from?
Woo-woo!
Now, I saw a few other suggestions on what you could do, and this was my favorite, is that after you score, the person who scored, say a receiver or a running back, that person who scores then has to kick the extra point. That would make it exciting. Because then everybody would kind of have to practice, warm up a little.
Let's just say if Doug Flutie can kick one of those extra points, I think anybody can do it.
That's kind of phony, though, Mike. It's a little too silly for the NFL.
I know. But, all right.
I mean, it's a nice idea.
So do you guys approve? If you were sitting there and Roger Goodell came over and said, okay, we're going to approve this, are you guys voting yay or nay?
I would say that there's one NFL kicker that could possibly lead credence to the fact that maybe we shouldn't have these extra points, and that is Matt Prater himself.
Oh, UCF's proudest.
As we all remember, Matt Prater missing an extra point in overtime to cost UCF their first bowl victory.
Mike loves the UCF talk.
Some UCF talk, guys. So again,
Mike, I want to get your thoughts. Let's go around the table here. There's no reason for
I say go for it. Yes. Take away the kicks. Yes. Okay. Go for the 7 points. And I like if you're going to go for 2, and obviously they'll probably go for 2 a lot more than just sticking with the 7 points. Why not?
We're all in agreement a little much. Is Skip Bayless around to throw a wrench?
He's not here. All right. Brandon, you want to stick around? We can do one for the Honeys with you?
Sure,
all right. So recently Warren Buffett came out and said he will give $1 billion if you fill out a perfect March Madness bracket. This is all free. On March 3rd, I guess something's going up and you can sign up and fill out a March Madness bracket. The chances that you actually get this right are 1 in 9.2 quadrillion chances. So there you go.
To my knowledge, this has never happened. A perfect bracket has never, ever been filled out in the history of March Madness. You hear it every year. There's been $1 million challenges. No one ever does it. So why not do $1 billion? Warren Buffett gets to stir up the pot, get his name out there, get his company out there, whatever he is that he's promoting. And the chances are, Good chances, by the way.
Well, and they're also giving for the top 20 people that don't actually get the perfect bracket, they will get $100,000.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's a nice consolation prize. I don't know about you guys, but if I made it past the opening games on the weekend with my bracket correct, I'd be extremely happy. So,
yeah, I mean,
getting all of those games right is some sort of feat.
What's the odds again, Mike?
1 in 9.2 quadrillion chances.
What's that?
I don't even know. Honestly,
I don't even know if
it's a real word.
That's a lot of digits. That's incredible. So great for Warren Buffett. It's not going to happen. You have to fill out a quadrillion brackets just to have a chance at getting one.
I mean, we all should fill out one and see who goes the furthest. Maybe we should make a bet amongst ourselves to see who goes the furthest.
Like $1 billion bet?
Not $1 billion bet.
About $1 billion penny bet.
How many dollars is that? It's a lot of money. All right, Brandon. Thank you for joining the show. Where can everybody find you on Twitter?
At the Chat Rat, guys. I'm available all the time on the Twitter.
This is not the end of a dating show, Brandon. But yeah. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, we are at TSH Podcast. And if we don't get molested, arrested, or abused, we'll be back next Thursday.
Way to go, B.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.
That was good.